banging on this Uber, and he goes, "The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you." And there was like compost bags, and he was like taking them, trying to like get this guy's attention. I think he said something about I'm a Christian soldier or something, and then we were like, "What the f?" He turns around and sees us, and that's when he, starts running at us full sprint, and that's when we get inside.
Can you kind of tell me what happened?
Yeah, so it was middle of the day, I was working, and I was middle of a meeting. My friend was leaving, going to get a Uber, and we walk outside, and we see this naked guy, and he's banging on my friend's Uber. And, we were like, oh, we don't know what's going on, so we just get back inside. We check around, and he mills around, kind of goes to our neighbors' houses and, like, messes them, but, within about 10, 15 minutes, all the cops showed up, and they ended up getting him, so.
Wow. And what did you feel? How did you feel when you heard like what this guy was up to?
Yeah, it was kind of disconcerting when it first happened. We didn't know. It was bizarre. We honestly thought maybe it was like, vagrant or someone coming down, or maybe one of our neighbors just having a bad day or something. But yeah, we didn't know what to think. We were more concerned with getting in the house because he was running at us, and then he was still messing around with the gates and stuff with the neighbors. So we're just trying to like, hunker down and wait to see what happened.
Can you tell me a little bit about the moment that he started charging towards your front door?
Yeah, so we were over here, and he was banging on the car, and then we said something about the situation, and he just turns around and full sprint comes at us, and again, he's naked. We're like, we don't know what's going on. We just lock the door and stay inside, and then we're trying to watch him go around. Like, our houses are pretty close, and so he goes a little bit over there, and then he goes in my neighbor's backyard for a while. He gets shooed off there, and he's just kind of prowling around here looking for stuff, and, after the Uber, he was banging on that. We're like, maybe he's trying to get in the car, so we're trying to watch him through the windows and stuff, but eventually the cops came and got him.
How does the porta potty come into play?
Yeah, so with that, we didn't see him go to it, but my other neighbors over there did. So he must have come through here, and then at some point, derobed, stashed stuff in that porta potty, and then probably a few minutes after that is when the Uber just showed up just right on time, and he was banging on it, and then the rest of the time he was, unclothed, and they got caught.
Yeah. Later on, you learned that he was on this shooting spree in North Austin. He was armed with a gun. Does it ever cross your mind that you could have been in?
Well, I mean, I come from like a military family. I'm going on to myself, but like, yeah, it is. It's always scary when you see this kind of thing. It could have been worse, but thankfully, yeah, nothing happened. No one else got hurt. So.
Yeah. Now that you know everything that happened, how do you feel?
Okay. If I would have found that out right away after it happened, I would have been a lot more freaked out than I am now. But now I'm just like, it's in a kind of macabre way. It makes more sense. But yeah, it still sucks.
You had mentioned, what was his behavior like?
Really erratic. I mean, honestly, at first we thought maybe it was like some kind of like mental health breakdown or drugs, really is what I thought. Because, around here, it's a safe neighborhood, but, there's homeless encampments and stuff around and people, on that stuff. So we thought that at first, but he was pretty clean shaven. He was, kind of in shape. He wasn't older. So we're like, this is maybe someone in the neighborhood who's just, a guy having a bad day or mixed with drugs or something.
Yeah. So we ended up finding out that this is a guy with a mental illness record, a long criminal rap sheet. What do you think when you hear that?
Well, it turns out, I found out actually we had mutuals on Facebook a bunch. So some of my friends actually know him. I don't know the guy personally, but, I'm not sure what to say. I'm not a psychiatrist, but, it was a lot to get him down here, that 18 miles or something like that he drove. So something really major had to have been going on for this to escalate to that point and get down here. So I don't know.
What was the police presence like?
Oh, it was big. So yeah, I came in, I got pictures on my phone too. It was full up. It was at least 15, 20 cars. And, the first kind of police presence we heard was the helicopter. And it was probably about 5 minutes after he charged in the front door. And they were really low, and, it's really wooded around here, so they were probably getting a good view. And then, 10 minutes after that, they just come barreling down here, and that's when we were like, okay, we could go peek outside again. And George comes out, I come out, and we start talking to the cops, and they say we detained him already. And we didn't see him get in the, any of the cars that were there, but he was in one of them.
Yeah. He had already stolen a car, hijacked another. Yeah. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't try to do any of that here.
Yeah, that's what we thought. When the Uber came out, we were like, okay. After we got inside, we had a second to think. We were like, is he trying to steal the car? Like, what's he doing? Why is he naked? And then as we saw him milling around, some of these cars are unlocked, guys coming in and out, they work remote, one of them does. So we were worried about that too, but, we didn't know, given that situation, what was going on. Now we know about the gun, so I'm glad we didn't go over there and maybe try to like stop him or detain him or something. But yeah, that was a real thought of ours, a real, fear.
Did that cross your mind to go up to him?
After we got inside, we were like, we should probably do something because George keeps his gate open and it was open. And so we got in there, and then, there's older couples down here One of my neighbors just always out with his dog and stuff. Like maybe we should warn people. We didn't know what was going on, but also, kind of big naked guy running at your front door gives you some pause to not go and try to mess with him.
Yeah.
So.
After all of this, do you feel a little bit nervous or scared?
No, I mean I've been actually a victim of crime before. I don't really buy into that kind of like fear mentality with it, but it's a really safe neighborhood. Austin's still great, and like honestly, it doesn't put me on a really bad opinion of it. It's still pretty safe, especially this neighborhood. It's pretty safe.
Yeah, it's a quiet neighborhood. Like I was telling you, it seems like a difficult neighborhood to get into.
Yeah, it is. It is. That was one thing surprising is how did he walk all the way down here? Because it's a long hill and there's really no inlet. So there's no outlet here. This just ends in a cul-de-sac. So you'd have to like hop the fence and get out over here, and there's some businesses, but you can't. Once you're down here, that's it. You have to go right back up, and that's where they already were. It's already crashed.
So when he had gotten here, it's alleged that he had already fatally shot 3 people, including a 4-year-old. Was he acting like that?
No, like I said, his mannerisms were erratic. He was saying that stuff about the power of Christ compels you. He was banging on the car, and it was just kind of like nonsensical speech. But he was definitely, we didn't get close look at his pupils or anything, but it was definitely erratic. Like we thought he was on some uppers, some bad mix of medication. But he wasn't like sloppily moving or anything. He was moving kind of quick, so he had enough bodily functions to escape the police and get all the way down here. So we don't know.
One of my last questions, because we hadn't talked about it, you were talking about what he had said. Can you kind of talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, like I said, it was in the moment, so don't quote me 100% on this, but he was, his back was to us, he's banging on this Uber, and he goes, the power of Christ compels you, the power of Christ compels you, and there was like compost bags, and he was like taking them, trying to like get this guy's attention. I think he said something about I'm a Christian soldier or something, and then we were like, what the F? He turns around and sees us, and that's when he starts running at us full sprint, and that's when we get inside. So we didn't hear a lot. He was kind of mumbling the whole time, but he wasn't like making loud sounds or anything. We didn't hear try to get in the neighbors or something. He wasn't screaming at the top of his lungs or something. No.
I'm so glad you're okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add that I haven't asked you?
No, it was just a really bizarre Monday. It was just out of the blue. It was one of the most bizarre days of my life, but yeah, I'm glad everyone's safe.
Yeah, I'm glad you're safe. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for your time.
Awesome.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and get the latest news by downloading the CBS Austin News app.